This week, something extraordinary happened. The President of the United States said out loud what everyone suspected but nobody wanted to hear. He said the federal government should do one thing: military defense, not Medicare, not Medicaid, not daycare, just war. And then he requested the largest military budget in American history, $1.5 trillion, while oil sits at $120 a barrel and the stock market follows a pattern that has never, not once, failed to produce a crash. I'm Andrew Meatrich. Today, we're breaking down the real cost of America's Gulf War. Not the missiles, not the politics, the money, your money. If you're new here, hit subscribe. Independent analysis with no corporate sponsors, no party loyalty, and no sacred cows. Where are all? Let's start with the number that should terrify every American investor. The Pentagon just requested $1.5 trillion for fiscal year 2027. That's a base budget of $1.1 trillion plus $350 billion for ammunition and industrial expansion. To put that in perspective, that's more than the GDP of Australia. For 1 year, for one department. And where does that money come from? The Environmental Protection Agency, the National Science Foundation, the Department of Education, the National Institutes of Health, infrastructure programs, environmental programs, social services, all facing massive cuts. But here's what Wall Street is actually watching. Brent crude hit $120 a barrel last week before settling around $109 at Friday's close. And there's a historical pattern that has never been broken. When oil surges 60% and stays elevated for several weeks, the S&P 500 falls at least 20%. Every single time, no exceptions. The technical picture is already broken. The index is trading below both its 50-day and 200-day moving averages. And since this war began, a bizarre rhythm has emerged. Stocks rally Monday through Wednesday, then crash an average of 9% Thursday and Friday. Investors refuse to hold positions over the weekend. Hedge funds have piled into short positions on the S&P 500. This isn't a market correction. This is fear priced into every single trade. OPEC Plus announced they'll increase production quotas for May. Sounds helpful until you see the number. 106,000 barrels per day. The world consumes that in roughly 90 seconds. It's a symbolic gesture while millions of barrels remain trapped behind the Strait of Hormuz blockade. And speaking of the Strait, the president posted 3 words on social media. Tuesday, 8 p.m. That was it. No context, no explanation. Just a deadline. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, he clarified, if Iran doesn't reopen the Hormuz Strait by Tuesday evening, he'll order strikes on power plants and bridges. He called the Iranian leadership, and I quote, crazy bastards, and promised they'd live in hell. Now here's where it gets interesting. On the same day, in a separate interview with Fox News, Trump said Iran is negotiating and a deal could happen by Monday. Monday, 1 day before his own deadline. So which is it? Hell or a handshake? Because the markets don't know either. And when markets don't know, they sell. Iran's parliament dismissed the threat as helpless and unbalanced. Their foreign minister kept the door open for talks. Meanwhile, Iranian drones hit oil facilities in Kuwait and Bahrain. UAE air defenses are working overtime intercepting missiles. Israel struck a petrochemical complex in southwestern Iran. 5 dead, 170 wounded. An Iranian missile hit a residential building in Haifa. 9 injured. This war is expanding, not winding down, and the rescue operation this week proved it. American special forces extracted the second downed F-15 pilot from inside Iranian territory. Hundreds of commandos, massive air support, CIA disinformation campaigns to divert Iranian forces. They had to destroy 2 C-130 transport planes on the ground to prevent capture. The president called it one of the most daring rescue missions in American history. Iran showed off the wreckage of the downed jet as a trophy. But here's the financial angle nobody's discussing. Every one of those operations cost tens of millions. Every destroyed aircraft adds to the tab, and the war is only 6 weeks old. And NATO? The alliance is fracturing in real time. Secretary General Mark Rutte is heading to the White House this week, caught between a president who wants NATO to help open the strait and European allies who want nothing to do with it. European diplomats told Reuters that Rutte is performing for an audience of one, Donald Trump. Most of his media appearances are on American television. European leaders believe he's gone too far and doesn't represent the majority of the alliance. This matters because if NATO won't back the operation, America pays alone. Every ship, every missile, every barrel of fuel on the American taxpayers' tab, added to that $1.5 trillion budget. Now let's talk about the money that's already being stolen. Vice President Vance is leading a crackdown on healthcare fraud that costs the federal government roughly $100 billion every year. Just in Medicare and Medicaid. In Los Angeles, a pre-dawn raid arrested 8 people, including a married couple, a doctor and a nurse, who were registering healthy people as terminally ill hospice patients and billing $4 million. Their license was under their daughter's name because the couple already had criminal records. In 10 weeks, federal agents shut down 221 hospices in Los Angeles alone. For comparison, the governor of California closed 4 in 4 years. Here's the number that matters. In South Florida, there are twice as many medical equipment suppliers as McDonald's restaurants. The fraud business is literally more popular than fast food. The head of the CDC said if they could eliminate Medicare fraud entirely, they would double the lifespan of the trust fund. Because right now, Medicare's trust fund hits insolvency by 2032, 6 years from now. The program that covers 65 million Americans runs out of money. And the president's response? At a White House Easter dinner, he told guests, and the White House briefly posted the video before deleting it, quote, "You can't take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, all these separate things. The states can do it. The federal government can't. We should be doing one thing, military defense." The governor of Maryland, a veteran of the 82nd Airborne in Afghanistan, called this nonsense. He said no state can replace the federal government in healthcare. And he asked a question the administration still hasn't answered. Why are gas prices rising and what's the plan to bring them down? The president's approval rating on healthcare stands at 38%. 61% disapprove. Yet the administration claims it increased Medicaid funding by $200 billion over 10 years and doubled rural healthcare spending. There's another number that deserves attention, $7.7 trillion. That's the estimated economic contribution that would be lost if the executive order ending birthright citizenship is fully implemented. California and Texas, the 2 states with the most beneficiaries, would absorb a third of the total damage. California alone loses over $2 trillion. Texas loses almost $1.5 trillion. These 2 state economies are larger than most countries on Earth. Researchers say these are conservative estimates. The real losses could be significantly higher, a policy designed to save money that would actually cost nearly $8 trillion. To be excess. And in Washington, while government employees can't pay rent because of the ongoing DHS shutdown, members of Congress went on vacation. Ted Cruz was spotted in Disney World. Others were photographed in Scotland. TMZ, the celebrity tabloid, announced its opening a full bureau in Washington because when they called congressional offices about the vacations, staffers were, quote, shocked that people were angry. Congressional aides are now calling TMZ themselves, offering stories about their colleagues. Think about that. Elected officials who are supposed to fund the government are at theme parks while federal workers skip meals, and it takes a celebrity gossip outlet to hold them accountable. Something has fundamentally broken. So let me bring this together. America is spending $1.5 trillion on defense while Medicare goes bankrupt in 6 years. Oil is above $100 because of a war with no exit strategy. The stock market follows a crash pattern that has never failed. NATO won't share the burden, and the president says the federal government should only do war. Every one of those facts is connected, and every one of them lands in the same place: your paycheck, your retirement account, your gas bill, your health care. This isn't abstract geopolitics happening somewhere far away. This is personal finance. And the bill is already in the mail. The question isn't whether Americans will pay. They're already paying, at the pump, in their portfolios, and soon enough at the doctor's office. The only question left is how long before everyone notices. Hey, if this analysis helped you see something the mainstream coverage missed, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like. It literally takes 2 seconds and it tells the algorithm this kind of independent, no-spin analysis deserves to reach more people. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this $1.5 trillion budget request. Do you think Medicare survives? I read every single comment, and your perspective shapes what I cover next. And if you really want to support what we're doing here, independent journalism with zero corporate backing, consider hitting that super thanks button below. Every contribution goes directly into research and production. No sponsors, no advertisers, no one telling me what to say or what to skip. Just honest analysis from one American to another. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp.